Now, I'm not one to make bold claims without having any sort of substance behind them, you know? I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I did think Fallout 76 was going to succeed. So, my word obviously means a lot in this place. So when I say that Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is the worst RPG I've ever played, it's obviously the complete opposite, because holy balls, man, it's been a long time since I've played a flawed masterpiece like this game. Alright, so I know a lot of the Elder Scrolls hardcore fans and Fallout fans love the older CRPG type titles. And for all of you who aren't sure exactly what the CRPG titles are or what CRPG means, let me enlighten you little noobs, because there's actually no harm in not knowing. They aren't really a huge thing anymore. They're still a thing, but not huge. Just kind of huge, but not huge, you know? But we'll get into it, alright? So CRPG games tend to be video games made off of famous tabletop game systems or a style similar to it. If you play Dungeons and Dragons, any of the editions, Cyberpunk, Vampire the Masquerade, or any of these older board games, you will know what I mean. Game adaptations of some of these franchises have given some well-made, heavy customizable experiences, and it's with the sheer amount of choice and direction the player character could take in some of the games. You will know it's a CRPG if it has a ton of stats, like Morrowind has a style to it, Fallout New Vegas, having all these abilities where you can hack computers, lockpick doors, be charismatic, sneaky, heavy-handed. It's your choice entirely. Fallout New Vegas would be a really good example of a modern one, and that was all the way back in 2010. We have a long-awaited sequel, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, coming next year. Imagine we live in a world where this exists, and Half-Life 3 doesn't. What even is the gaming life, man? Next you're all gonna tell me Skyrim 2 exists, or Morrowind 3, or maybe even Arena 7. Don't even try to lie to me and tell me you don't know, cause you do. But today's video is going to be focusing into my experience with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines and what it's been like playing it so far this last month. I've thrown off playing this game for years, but I thought it was about time to try it. This isn't a review or an analysis or anything like that. It's more just I wanted to make a video talking about the game and what it's been like so far, and maybe try to convince you all to give it a shot if you get the chance. If you're a massive fan of Tim Kane's work in the old Fallout games and how he likes to direct them, then you will absolutely love Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It has a lot of similarities to New Vegas 2. It's just so good. Obviously, this doesn't all come without a ton of flaws, but trust me, I'm going to try and direct you through the pros and cons and try and see if I can outweigh the cons, because there might be a lot of cons, but the pros are just too goddamn good to ignore, man. Anyways, let's shoot into it, fellow NWAs. Okay, so hopefully it didn't sound too over the place, my explanation so far. I'm just a little bit excited. I've actually been really enjoying this game, but I'm going to do my best, because there isn't that many unique games like this one that have a bit of every genre in them, and I don't say that lightly. I haven't had this much fun with an RPG since I played Fallout New Vegas and all its DLCs, bar Honest Hearts, because I just have no interest in lobbing spears at random people. The sheer amount of direction you can choose from is not actually funny. It isn't. I used is not instead of isn't to clarify how serious I am here, alright? And it all starts with the type of vampire you choose from the start of the game. You can choose from a massive selection, all owning certain skills and feats differently. I chose to play the werewolf-styled character, the Gangrene or something. It sounds like a really muddled up disease or something, you know, but I thought he looked cool. He or she, by the way, depending on what type of gender you want to play. The game works with races as well, being in clans and all that cool kind of stuff. You have clans like the Camarilla or the Nosferatus, the Anarchs. There's a lot of choice with them. There's a lot of groups and characters in the game anyway, but owning particular skills will open up ways to do different quests in all sorts of ways. Let me give you some examples, alright? You could use brute force and kill everything to break into a building. You could sneak around and take the stealth approach. You can use ranged weapons. You can use the power of persuasion to convince them to to let you through. Each vampire type has different dialogue choices at different points in the game, and it really gives the player a ton of replayability that they can partake in. Every quest can be done in a ton of different ways. Your choices can keep a character alive or have them killed. You may end up causing big problems down the line for small choices you made at the start. There really is a ton of impact in the choices you pick during your playthrough. Some characters are prejudiced to other character types, and the developers really went out of their way to give the player a ton of variety in the directions you can take in the game. That's what I felt like anyways. I think if it's not the different characters you can play or the sheer amount of stat changes that can impact a game that pull you back into replay, it will be the brilliance of the writing the game has, because oh my god, it's so good. So, to talk a bit about the writing, the game has a lot of it. Every character, bar the really irrelevant ones or quiet ones, or even the NPCs who don't talk and just work as background noise, have so much dialogue for you to either listen to or read through. And all the characters are well voiced, to the most part. Some of them aren't, obviously. It is a 2004 game. This was back when Troika Games made it. They had like 5 developers. Troika haven't been a thing for like over a decade. So it's changed around a bit, but Tim Cain worked on it, one of the creators of Fallout. Another cool thing about the sequel coming next year, Brian Mitsoda, if I didn't butcher his name, one of the writers for the first game, is returning to help write the second. So hopefully that will add to giving it the great writing it had in 2004. But no matter who you talk to in this game, they will sound somewhat emotional. Most are unique from one another. Lots of different people are kicking around. Australians, English, Eastern Europeans, Asians, there's a lot of variety. I didn't see any Irish people, but we won't get into that. A neat thing too, this was 2004, when being gay was still not something you would be massively open about. But the game seems to acknowledge that this was quite a normal thing for the human race, and it pops up a lot during the writing. There's even a line of something written somewhere, I can't remember exactly where it was, but it mentions that while people aren't too accepting of it, it seems to be the vampires are more toward. It was just a really cool little thing. It really was cool to see that not everyone in the world was against it back then. Something not seen a whole lot in video games from the early 2000s. A wee bit of progression here and there, you know, but all sorts of themes and types of people are explored during the game's time. All the higher up vampires and leading figures have a ton of rich lore and story behind them. You will learn a little bit about everyone as you progress through the game, and with every conversation I had a ton of ways to respond. I'm not sure if it was on the game director's hands or the writers, but I'm going to give credit to both of them when I say thank you for letting me be a sucky up lick arse or somebody who hates everyone and likes to dick around. This is with every single dialogue choice, and I love that I can be the hero or villain in my story. I don't need to be loyal to any one clan, although you will have to make this choice at some parts in the game. There is specific groups you can work with and have to choose to stick with, as like I said earlier, there is a ton of choice in the direction the player can take throughout his adventure in the game. It really is something cool. I have not seen a game replicate this type of choice since Fallout New Vegas, before Fallout New Vegas. It's become an extremely rare thing for games, and it's weird seeing as how there is such a broad and wide range of love for this type of gameplay. I failed some quests, I haven't played some of the different types of vampires, I choose certain skills to focus on over others, so I have a ton of ways I can still go about doing quests again and again when I come back to play it, and I'm excited to see what happens. Now let's talk about some of my faults with the game, and whilst I love the game and I agree with most in the RPG community that this really is an underappreciated game and a flawed masterpiece at that, them flaws are pretty bad at times. Because it was 2004 and development times and crunch were rushed beyond reasoning, weird how times really haven't changed much at all, huh? But the game was given a limited amount of time by Activision, I think it was, don't hold me on that, so you can imagine what it was like. The game released with 1,000,001 glitches. I'm going to tell you right now, if you think of playing this game without the unofficial patch on PC, you will seriously regret it at a later stage. I mean it. Please download the patch. I'll even leave a link in the description of this video if you decide to buy the game, mind you. It is only on PC, but holy cow, is it cheap on both Steam and GOG. It's always on sale too during big sales, so look out for it then. If you have a disk drive in your computer for some reason 2004, 2019. You can buy a copy at your local thrift store. GameStop wouldn't have it, but you know, any decent game store will have it somewhere, or Amazon. You can always try Amazon. But you will need this patch. The game was a bug fest on release. Broken dialogue, broken quests, broken characters, broken mechanics. The game was every bug tester's worst nightmare, if the bug testers existed in the first place. Haha, did you see what I did there? Even with the patch installed though, I still face a ton of bugs at times. That's how bad it was. I get stuck indoors, the game crashes, AI pathfinding messes up quite a lot, and I mean it really will ruin the flow of the game at times for you. I was doing a quest in Hollywood where you have to talk to a vampire hunter who's disguised as a pole dancer, and she's dancing for a basement peep show in a place called the Sin Bin. Ooh, that people pay to watch in little stalls. It's weird, man. But I hacked the computer in the manager's room to lock down the windows as one of the ways of doing the quest, and a cutscene plays to lock down the place. The windows lock, assuming that all the peepers would leave, leaving me to go and deal with the vampire hunter myself. But the AI walking out the door just doesn't work. One guy's window doesn't even lock, and he stays in the stall not moving. The other one gets stuck behind the door, and I didn't make a save too close, and I had to do it all again, and it was just so tedious. So I gave in and just killed them all, which was a real bummer when I was playing it. I would heavily advise saving constantly, by the way, because I'm a Skyrim pleb. I bind in my quick save button to F5 because YOLO. So I advise you to do it too. Save as often as possible, make manual saves too. It only takes a few seconds. I know I haven't talked about the main story a whole lot, but it's because I want you all to experience it for yourself. If you get the patch and can get past the outdated graphics, this game is every role player's wet dream. If you absolutely love creating unique characters, giving them backstories, and role-playing in video games, then the Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines game is for you. You really won't regret picking it up if you like this type of game. If you loved Fallout New Vegas or Alpha Protocol or even Deus Ex, then you will love the style this game has to offer. The gameplay loop is fun, the characters are quirky, the writing is excellent, and the story is very good. I mentioned earlier the game involved a ton of different genres, and I wasn't lying there. I don't want to say too much, but there was a mission in a haunted mansion you get trapped in, and oh boy, it's been a long time since I felt terror around every corner in a game this old, like I did when getting through that mansion. Seriously, man, try this game out. There's more than one instance with this kind of stuff. There's a graveyard where you shoot zombies, there's this haunted mansion, there's a murder you have to try and solve. There's just so many different types of genres muddled into this one, and it just works so well. It gives such a variety to the gameplay and a lot for you to do, and it's seriously something I just love. I really do envy anybody who gets to experience it for the first time again, even though I only probably started playing it like 3 weeks ago, but you know, how am I already nostalgic? It's so weird. I'm gonna go and play more now because there's too much to do. On the website, How Long Is It, for video games around for speedrunners and other people to see, they say the average completion is like 20 to 25 hours. Imagine having that much to do in a game from 2004. It's crazy. But yeah, my friends, that's it for today's video. I've said all I want to say. I think I probably haven't, but you know me, I'm always forgetting everything. I highly recommend trying this game out. Add it to your wish list or something. I've had the game in my Steam for a couple of years now. I had a friend who loaned it to me about 8 years ago and I never wanted to play it. I didn't think I'd like it. Oh, how wrong I was. If you have played this game, however, I would love to know what you all think of it. Do you like or dislike the game? Do you plan on buying the game? Or have I convinced you to do so? Do let me know in the comments below. If you don't like it or don't plan on buying it, let me know why. I really would like to know. It's always cool talking to different people about different games like this, seeing discussions and debates happen around them. It really brings the community together and I love it. There's so few games that play out like this one, and it really is a rare gem in a sea of rushed, crunch hour games, void of any life. But yeah, do leave a like or a dislike if you did enjoy or didn't enjoy the video, and make sure to leave your feedback in the comments below. I would love to see what you have to say about this game. Your opinions do matter to me. If there's any other older games we should have a look at, do let me know. I'd like to do more of these. It was a lot of fun. If it is your first time seeing a video from me, however, and it's now, maybe consider subscribing to check out more videos from me in the future, but only if you want. If I entertained at least one person, then I can sleep happy. But anyways, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful day, week, month, or year, or night. It could be the other side of the world. I will see you all in the next one.